If you're beyond 60, the way you walk could be slowly damaging your heart, and you may not even know it. Yes, walking, the very thing you've been told is safe, gentle, and beneficial for your health. However, what if the way most seniors walk, the time, the shoes, the posture, even the breathing, may be silently straining your heart day after day? As a cardiologist, I've witnessed it too many times. Older adults come into my clinic feeling tired, dizzy, or off balance, no chest pain, no warning signs, yet inside, their heart is waving a red flag. In so many of these cases, it wasn't because they were sedentary or their diet, it was the way they were walking. Small mistakes that added up to serious cardiovascular stress. I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to protect you. Throughout this video, I'm urging you to stop 9 common walking habits that could be weakening your heart. More importantly, I'll demonstrate exactly how to walk the right way to protect your body, your balance, and your life. Let's begin. Your heart deserves it. Before we continue, if you're not already subscribed, I suggest clicking that button and activating notifications so you won't miss future health guidance designed specifically for you. Should this video provide value, enter 1 in the comments section. If it doesn't, enter 0, so I understand how to create superior content for you.
1. Walking too fast like you're still 40. At first glance, walking quickly might seem beneficial. After all, isn't moving faster supposed to be healthier? Many seniors, particularly those who were once active runners, hikers, or brisk walkers, carry the belief that pushing yourself is a badge of honor, a way to prove you're still strong. However, what if walking too fast, like you're still 40, can actually destroy your heart, step by silent step? The truth is, after age 60, your heart isn't what it used to be, and that's not a weakness, it's biology. With age, your heart muscle becomes less elastic, the arteries stiffen, the body's ability to regulate blood pressure and oxygen delivery slows. What used to be a brisk walk in your 40s could now be pushing your heart dangerously close to its limit without you realizing it. I've witnessed it far too many times in my clinic. Seniors come in proud of their 10,000 steps a day, telling me they power walk every morning around the neighborhood. They feel accomplished until I put a stethoscope to their chest or check their blood pressure. Elevated readings, irregular rhythms, subtle yet dangerous signs that their heart is working too hard. They're shocked. "But I thought walking was good for me," they say. And yes, it is, but only when done with wisdom, not ego. Let me share about Mr. Thompson, a 72-year-old retired Navy veteran, strong-willed, proud. He walked every morning at 7 a.m., fast and determined. He thought he was doing everything correctly, yet he started feeling lightheaded after his walks. He ignored it until one morning he collapsed on the sidewalk just 3 houses down from his own front door. He was rushed in, his heart, atrial fibrillation, and severe hypertension. The cause? Chronic overexertion from his healthy walks. No prior heart disease, no smoking, no poor diet, just too fast, too often for a heart that couldn't keep up anymore.
2. Walking right after meals. For many seniors, a short walk after a meal seems like the perfect way to help digestion or burn off calories. It feels responsible, even comforting, like a habit you've seen in health magazines or heard from friends. However, if you're beyond 60, walking right after eating may actually be silently damaging your heart. The effects aren't just mild discomfort, they can be life-altering. After a meal, particularly one with a moderate or large portion, your body shifts into digestion mode. Blood is redirected toward your stomach and intestines to help break down food. It's a beautifully coordinated process, yet it comes at a cost. The rest of your body, including your muscles and, yes, your heart, temporarily receives less blood and oxygen. Now imagine deciding to walk briskly just 5 or 10 minutes after you finish eating. Your muscles suddenly demand blood flow. Your heart, already managing the work of digestion, must now divide its efforts, trying to increase circulation to your legs and arms while still supporting your gastrointestinal system.
This creates internal conflict, forcing your heart into overdrive when it's least prepared for stress. This kind of strain doesn't always feel dramatic. That's what makes it so dangerous. You might just feel slightly winded or sluggish, perhaps a bit lightheaded. Yet, what's really happening is a sudden spike in heart rate and blood pressure, along with a shift in fluid distribution. In seniors, particularly those with hypertension, arrhythmia, or a history of heart disease, this can be a perfect storm. I remember one patient clearly. Her name was Helen, a 68-year-old retired school teacher with a calm demeanor and a history of borderline high blood pressure. She believed she was doing everything correctly. She ate healthy, stayed active, and every evening after dinner, she'd take a short 15-minute walk around her neighborhood, even in winter. 3. Walking while carrying heavy bags or items. At a glance, it seems harmless, walking while holding a shopping bag, a gallon of milk, or even a small pet's leash. These are part of daily life. For many seniors, it feels like a simple way to stay productive and mobile. However, what most older adults don't realize is that walking while carrying weight, even lightweight items, can be quietly and consistently breaking down your heart, joint health, and internal balance in ways that are dangerously underestimated. You understand, when we're young, our cardiovascular and musculoskeletal systems are flexible, resilient, and fast to adapt. Yet after 60, the game changes entirely. The body becomes less forgiving, our joints are more fragile, our posture is more sensitive to shifts, and most importantly, our heart can no longer handle divided attention the way it once did. Carrying heavy or even moderate items, whether it's groceries, packages, or your dog pulling on a leash, may seem small, yet here's what happens inside your body when you do it. The muscles of your shoulders, arms, and back tense up. Your balance shifts, often without you realizing it. Your walking rhythm changes. Perhaps your stride shortens, your hips tilt, your neck tightens. All of these postural compensations force your heart to work harder. Why? Because now your body is trying to move forward while simultaneously stabilizing itself against an unbalanced load. This is particularly dangerous if you have high blood pressure, reduced lung capacity, or a history of cardiovascular disease. The heart begins to beat faster, blood vessels constrict, oxygen delivery to your muscles becomes strained. What should be a gentle, beneficial walk becomes a physical stressor. Over time, this stress accumulates, and it doesn't make you stronger, it makes your heart weaker. 4. Walking on uneven or unsafe surfaces. To many seniors, walking feels like second nature. You've been doing it your whole life across sidewalks, driveways, grassy parks, gravel trails. So it may come as a surprise that the very surface you walk on can slowly and silently become one of the greatest threats to your heart, your balance, and your long-term independence. It's not the act of walking that's dangerous, it's walking on surfaces your body is no longer equipped to handle. As we age, changes in joint flexibility, muscle strength, vision, and inner ear function all chip away at our once stable stride. However, the most fragile system of all, and often the least understood in this context, is your cardiovascular system. Uneven surfaces don't just challenge your legs, they place your heart under stress in ways most seniors have never been warned about. Let me explain. When you walk on a cracked sidewalk, a sloping lawn, a gravel path, or a poorly lit parking lot, your body is working overtime to stay upright. Your brain is trying to adjust your posture with each unpredictable step, your leg muscles are tensing and compensating. In the background, your heart is accelerating, trying to meet the demands of sudden shifts in muscle engagement and blood pressure regulation. These micro-adjustments may not seem like a big deal, yet for aging hearts, they are. The balance centers in your brain aren't as responsive as they were at 40. Your arteries may be stiffer, your heart rate recovery time is slower. So what was once an ordinary stroll on uneven ground can now trigger a cascade of physiological stress, elevating your heart rate, tightening your vessels, and in some cases, sparking arrhythmias or spikes in blood pressure. I remember one patient vividly. Miss Lopez, a 76-year-old widow who took pride in staying active, enjoyed walking her little dog every morning around her neighborhood. 5. Walking too late in the evening. It's quiet, the sun has set, dinner is done, the house is calm. For many seniors, this feels like the perfect time to take a walk. After all, what could be more peaceful than a cool evening stroll through your neighborhood? It seems like a wise habit. However, what if this very routine, this innocent nighttime walk, might be silently sabotaging your sleep, your rhythm, and ultimately destroying your heart? You understand, as we age, our bodies change, not just physically, but hormonally, neurologically, and metabolically. One of the most delicate systems we have is our circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates everything from sleep and digestion to heart rate and blood pressure. For younger individuals, that system is flexible. However, for seniors, it becomes exquisitely sensitive to any disruption. Late evening exercise, particularly walking, is one of the most overlooked disruptors. Walking may not feel intense, especially compared to weightlifting or aerobic workouts, yet the truth is, even light physical exertion in the evening can activate your nervous system, raise your core body temperature, and stimulate adrenaline. That's the opposite of what your body needs as it prepares for rest. Your heart, in particular, needs to slow down, lower its output, and begin its nightly healing process. However, when you walk too late, you confuse the system. You send your heart a message: stay alert, keep working. What should be a gentle closing to your day becomes a biological tug-of-war. Sleep becomes harder to fall into. When it does come, it's shallow, fragmented, and less restorative. Here's the heartbreaking part. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired the next day. It's directly linked to elevated blood pressure, increased inflammation, insulin resistance, memory loss, and cardiac arrhythmias. Yes, walking at the wrong time can ripple into systems you never imagined, weakening your heart one restless night at a time. 6. Walking in the wrong shoes. You wouldn't build a house on a cracked foundation, and yet every day, countless seniors are walking mile after mile on worn-out soles, unsupportive sandals, or shoes that no longer fit their aging feet. It might seem trivial. After all, they're just shoes, right? However, for older adults, the wrong footwear can be more than uncomfortable. It can quietly cause joint damage, balance issues, and even trigger cardiac stress that builds up silently. What's beneath your feet might be the very thing that ends up destroying your heart without you ever realizing it. As we age, our feet change. The fat pads on the soles thin out, arches begin to collapse, tendons stiffen, and nerves become less responsive. These subtle shifts affect everything: how we stand, how we walk, how pressure travels up our legs into our hips and spine, and most importantly, how hard our heart has to work to keep up with these changes. Poor shoes don't just hurt your feet, they shift your entire alignment. With every misstep, your cardiovascular system must adapt, compensate, and over time, suffer. I recall a patient, Mrs. Elaine Carter, a 73-year-old former nurse with a warm smile and a passion for gardening. She came to my clinic complaining of lower back pain, occasional dizziness during walks, and persistent leg fatigue. At first glance, her cardiovascular metrics were borderline, not alarming, yet not ideal. It wasn't until I asked her about her walking routine that the real cause became clear. Elaine walked every morning around her cul-de-sac in a pair of 10-year-old canvas sneakers, no arch support, worn treads, zero shock absorption. "They're comfortable," she said. "I've had them forever." However, those shoes, once reliable, were now sabotaging her every step. With no support, her ankles rolled inward, her knees misaligned, her posture leaned forward slightly, and her muscles tensed to compensate. 7. Walking with poor posture and body alignment. We often think of posture as something cosmetic, the way we stand in a photo or how upright we look when someone walks into a room. However, what many seniors don't realize is that posture, particularly during walking, is not just about appearance, it's about survival. It's about protecting your heart, your lungs, your balance, and even your brain. If you're walking with poor posture, shoulders hunched, head dropped, hips misaligned, you may be doing more than putting stress on your spine. You may be silently destroying your heart. Let me explain why. When your posture collapses, your chest cavity narrows. That means less room for your lungs to expand, less oxygen coming in with each breath. Your diaphragm, the muscle responsible for pulling air into your body, becomes compressed and weakened. The result? Your heart must work harder to deliver oxygen to your brain and muscles. When that happens day after day, walk after walk, you place your cardiovascular system in a constant state of mild distress. It may not feel dangerous, you might not even notice it, yet over time it adds up, and the consequences can be devastating. I witnessed this firsthand with Mr. Wallace, a 79-year-old retired engineer with a stooped back and a slow shuffle. He told me he walked nearly every morning, yet recently he'd been feeling winded even during short walks. "It's just age, right?" he asked, half joking. However, I noticed something immediately. His chin pointed downward, his shoulders rolled forward, and his lower back arched awkwardly. His posture was collapsing inward, restricting his lungs and forcing his heart to work harder with every step. I ran a few tests, no blockages, no severe valve problems, yet his heart rate was elevated for his age. His oxygen levels dipped slightly during walking. 8. Walking while holding your breath or breathing improperly. To many seniors, walking feels like second nature. You've done it your whole life, and it doesn't seem like something that requires much thought. However, here's the truth. How you breathe when you walk can either support your heart or slowly weaken it. If you're holding your breath, breathing shallowly, or simply not aware of your breathing rhythm, you might be unknowingly placing dangerous stress on your cardiovascular system with every step you take. As we age, our lungs lose elasticity, the diaphragm weakens, our breathing becomes more shallow, often without us noticing. Add to that the stress, stiffness, or fatigue many seniors feel during physical activity, and what happens? We start to unconsciously hold our breath, particularly during inclines, turns, or moments of imbalance. It might only be for a few seconds at a time, yet those seconds add up, and the cost to the heart can be devastating. Why is breath so critical? Because every time you inhale deeply, you're delivering fresh oxygen to your bloodstream. That oxygen fuels your muscles, nourishes your brain, and lightens the workload on your heart. However, when you hold your breath or breathe too shallowly, your heart doesn't stop needing oxygen. It just works harder to get what little is available. That effort increases your heart rate, spikes your blood pressure, and over time leads to wear and tear that your heart was never designed to handle in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. I'll never forget Marjorie, a 75-year-old retired piano teacher who came to my clinic complaining of chest tightness and fatigue halfway through her walks. Her vitals were concerning, yet not alarming. No blocked arteries, no fluid in her lungs. However, when I observed her walk on a treadmill, I saw it almost immediately. Her shoulders tensed, her lips pursed, she was holding her breath every time she stepped up slightly or turned her head.
9. Stopping walking altogether. The slow decline you don't feel until it's too late. If there's one mistake I've witnessed more than any other in my decades of working with seniors, it's this: stopping walking altogether. Not because of a major illness, not because of an injury, yet because of a quiet decision made gradually, silently, to stop moving. A little less walking each week, a few more afternoons sitting. "I'm just tired today" becomes "maybe tomorrow," and then eventually, not at all. What's most tragic? You don't feel the damage right away. In fact, it feels deceptively safe, comfortable, familiar. However, inside your body, something far more dangerous is happening. Because the truth is, when you stop walking, your heart begins to decline, slowly, silently, and often irreversibly. The heart is a muscle,
and like any muscle, it needs movement to stay strong. The simple act of walking helps your blood vessels stay flexible, your blood pressure remains steady, and your circulation flows smoothly. It keeps your lungs expanded, your joints lubricated, your muscles engaged. However, when you stop, even for just a few weeks, the opposite begins. Muscles shrink, circulation slows, blood pressure rises, and your heart begins to lose its rhythm. Worse yet, the emotional toll of inactivity feeds the physical one. You may begin to feel a little more fatigued, a bit more stiff, slightly more anxious, so you walk even less. In that spiral, your heart is quietly suffering. I think often of Mr. Leonard, an 82-year-old former postal worker I treated a few years ago. For most of his life, he walked miles every day delivering mail. Even after retirement, he kept it up. However, then came a rough winter. He caught a cold, slowed down, stayed indoors. Just until the weather clears, he said. Weeks turned into months, and by the time spring arrived, he was struggling to walk to the mailbox without feeling winded.